Hey guys, okay, so this is just a review of what we have learned yesterday, and this is for people who prefer learning over the videos, and I think it's better than being distracted by everybody who acts crazy in class. So, just to review, we're solving a system of equations, and not just two lines, but now we're going to be solving with parabolas and lines at the same time. So this graph right here, we're actually going to go over number one on your worksheet that you have in front of you. And here is the first equation here. This is, oops, let me turn it on. It's y equals x squared plus 2x plus 7. And this is the graph of what it is. And if I graph the second one, which is y equals x plus 7, here is the line here. All right, and we have two intersection points here. We have got this one, and the intersection point is negative 1, 6. And then if we go up to the second intersection point, this is 0, comma 7. So if we have a graph, no problem, super easy. We just find the point. But now this is algebra 2, so now we have to learn how to algebraically be able to find the intersection points of the parabola and of the line. All right, so we're going to go switch to the work screen, and we're going to go through how to do this one step at a time. Okay guys, so we're going to start solving this algebraically, number one. And it's y equals x squared plus 2x plus 7, which is that parabola we just saw, and then that line y equals x plus 7. So we're on step one here. We're going to set equations equal to each other and algebraically move everything to the left-hand side of the equal sign. So the reason why we can do that is because we have two y's here. Y is always equal to y. 1 is always equal to 1. 10 is always equal to 10. So we could use substitution to sub in x squared plus 2x plus 7 over here and x plus 7 on the right hand side. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. We have x squared plus 2x plus 7 equals x plus 7. Alright, so we set the two equations equal to each other, and now we need to move everything to the left-hand side of the equal sign. So I'm going to move this whole expression over here, but we have to do it mathematically correct. So we're just going to subtract x, and the reason why we're subtracting is because it's being added. And just to save us some time, we're going to do two steps in one. Instead of adding, to undo adding, we are going to subtract. And what I do on one side of the equal sign, I'm going to do on the other. So I'm going to subtract x over here, and I'm going to subtract 7 underneath here. Okay, and this now reduces down to 0. 7 minus 7 is 0. 2x minus x is x, and then I have x squared. Alright, and this is a plus x because 2 minus 1 is a positive 1. Alright, so we're done with step 1. Okay, step 2, I'm going to do in a different color. This is going to be step 2. We're going to factor the equation, and we're going to use either the big X method or pulling out a GCF or the quadratic formula. So let's take a look here. We've got x squared plus 1x equals 0. And you want to ask yourself, do I have any greatest common factors? And the answer is yes. So I can pull out a greatest common factor here. Alright. And you could use your boxes if you wish. Okay. We could put x squared in here and 1x here. And they both have 1x in common, so I'm going to pull that out. And then you ask yourself, x times what gives you x squared? And that's x. And then x times what gives you 1x? And that's just a 1. And it's a positive 1. Okay? So these two are your factors here. X times x, the quantity x plus 1, and equals 0. And now we're done with step 2. Okay? Moving on to step 3. Okay? Now it says we need to solve for x. So we're simply going to take our two factors. We've got one factor here and the second factor here. And you're going to set them equal to 0. So the first one is just this one. That's our first factor. So x is equal to 0. That's our first value for x. And then we take our second one right here, and x plus 1 equals 0. And you subtract 1 from both sides. So x equals -1. Okay, so we've got two answers here. Well, we got two values for x. I don't want to use the word answer yet, but we got two values for x. We have x is equal to 0 and we have x is equal to -1 as well. All right, and so we're done here for step 3. Step 4, it says plug x into the linear equation. And the reason why I'm saying the linear equation, which is this one right here, is because it's easier to substitute in to find a value for y than the top equation. All right, so let's go ahead and do step 4. Okay, so step 4, let's use the first value for x. So when x equals 0, I'm going to plug in to the linear equation. So y equals, I'm using this equation right here. Okay, so x plus 0, so it's 0 plus 7, so y equals 7. So my first answer, my first intersection point is 0, 7. Okay, now I'm going to do x equals -1, which is my second x value for my second intersection point, and I'm going to plug that again into my linear equation. So it's y equals x, which is -1, plus 7, so y equals a positive 6. Alright, so my second intersection point here is -1, 6. Alright, so this is our solution right here. Let me get a different color. This is our solution. We have intersecting points at these values right here. Okay? It's a lot of different work, but if you break it down step by step, step 1, you just set it equal to 0, or you move everything to the left-hand side. Step 2, factor. Step 3, solve for x. Step 4, solve for y, and then you get your points. Alright, so take your time. I know you guys can do it. Good luck.